It's time to get to the truth. The police were apparently gagged from releasing vital information about Axel Rudakabana in the wake of the Southport murders. That's what they say. But according to reports, Merseyside police had wanted to provide details about the killer's background, but were warned not to do so by the Crown Prosecution Service. Well, this revelation comes after Keir Starmer admitted that he did withhold information about the terrorist links of Axel Rudakabana from the public, but denied he was part of a cover-up. Now, let's remind ourselves of how events unfolded after the attack. This is crucial to get the chronology and the facts correct. Let's get our ducks in a row. Now, in October 2024, the Serena Kennedy, the Chief Constable of Merseyside Police, had this to say.
At this time, counter-terrorism policing has not declared the events of the 29th of July a terrorist incident. I recognise that these new charges may lead to speculation. The matter for which Axel Rudakabana has been charged under the Terrorism Act does not require motive to be established.
Now, correction, that was July 2024, the day after, actually, the triple killing. The day after the triple killing, Merseyside police went to the press and said this was not a terrorist attack. Now, meanwhile, the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, said the suggestion that the Southport attack was terror-related was fake news.
It's not to stoke up what conspiracy theories or what you think might have happened or lean it into what you think. Actually, there's a responsibility to say the police are doing a difficult job. Local authorities, all of the services that are on the ground, we want to establish facts as soon as possible. And we have a responsibility to hold the community together and say, let's get the facts and then let's look at what the actual solutions are.
So the police say it wasn't terrorism. Angela Rayner doubled down and said if you say that, it's fake news. And the riots that then followed the Southport attacks were slammed by Keir Starmer as far right.
This was a meeting to pull together our response. A response both to the immediate challenge, which is clearly driven by far-right hatred.
There we go. So in August 2024, we already have established the police said it wasn't terrorism. Angela Rayner doubled down. As Keir Starmer said, if you objected, you were far right. But look how things have changed. Just yesterday, we heard from the Labour MP for Dover, Mike Tapp, in the House of Commons, as he called the Southport attacker, you got it, a terrorist.
It's important to note that this attacker is a terrorist. He's been charged under the Terrorism Act and the Biological Weapons Act. The man is a terrorist.
But wait, here's the full bingo card. Because yesterday, the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, replied to Mr Tapp and she accepted that Axel Rudakabana ought to be treated, you've guessed it, as a terrorist.
Because this man has been charged under the Terrorism Act and has pleaded guilty to a terrorist offence, I can confirm he will be treated as a terrorist offender in prison as well.
So what a journey. We've gone from this absolutely was not terrorism, and if you say it is, then it's fake news, to the Home Secretary confirming the day before the judge passes his ruling tomorrow, actually, it's terrorism. Clear? OK, let's carry on the conversation in the studio with GB News political editor Chris Hope. Chris, this stinks. It absolutely stinks. Like, we have to be absolutely clear about the fact that if the police are today claiming that they were told by the Crown Prosecution Service to go quiet, but the police didn't go quiet on the first day. They said it was not terrorism. The deputy leader of the country doubled down on that. And now we've got a situation where that appears to be changing fast. The full truth will come out in court tomorrow. Many, many questions are being asked about the timeline, about we can't put anything out there, it will compromise the case. And yet, evidence was put out there in October about the ricin, about the jihadi manual. Chris, a lot of people are asking a lot of questions. And guess who didn't ask a question today? At Prime Minister's Question Time, Kemi Badenoch, Sir Keir Starmer was on the ropes there for the taking. Instead, she randomly went on about an education bill. Nobody in the country is interested in an education bill today. They're interested in the biggest story in Britain at the moment. You've got something for us, though, Chris. There might be a reason why the Conservatives aren't quite so keen to talk about it, and this is astonishing.
Well, before we get to that, what could be a reason, we don't know yet. Let's get back to what happened today. Today we're expecting Kemi Badenoch to have a go at Keir Starmer about the Southport attacks, about why the facts of the terror links didn't emerge until charging in October after the late July attacks. Instead of mentioning, well, she name-checked Southport and said, I'll come to that at a later point, and then talked to the PM and grilled him about education policy, which I would argue is a big issue for millions of people. I know not day. Now.
Not today.
The politics of this
no one cares.
The politics of this is, Martin, is why change the subject. In a sense, it helped Starmer. Starmer's got some difficult questions to answer on Southport, and the leader of the opposition chose not to. Now, they tell me that they want to recognise genuine anger from Kemi Badenoch and the wider party about what Labour's doing to our schools. They're reversing schools' freedoms. Kemi Badenoch was in an academy recently, gave an interview there, is concerned. She, of course, we heard earlier on GB News that they couldn't, that you know, she felt that she had to, you could have an army person hiring someone from PE. So I had a text, I've got to read that text to you shortly. So that's interesting. In the House yesterday, though, another fact emerged which is overlooked. Yvette Cooper said that the government had briefed the Tory party at the same time as the terror links emerged. Now, the ricin link emerged in August. Now, listen, the Al-Qaeda manual in October. At the same time as that happened, the Home Office found out, and the Tories. Now, I've had a text here.
We're going to come back to that in a minute because we're going to bring Mark White in and get your ducks in a row. I think this is going to go tonto. You've got an update, a new line potentially on what did the Conservatives know and when.
So in the House yesterday, Yvette Cooper, answering a question from Ben Obies-Jekti, said that the Home Office ministers found out in August about the ricin, in October about the Al-Qaeda manual. But what is fascinating is that she also said that the opposition was briefed at the same time. So the Tory opposition was briefed at the same time as ministers. Now,
in August?
At the same time. We don't know if it's in August and October or whenever, but at the same time, the Conservatives were told about this terror link. What happened was, I can reveal that James Cleverly MP, who was the Home Secretary, a Shadow Home Secretary, was briefed on Privy Council terms on the incident. Now, that means that you can't share it widely. You're briefed on what's going on, but you can't share it widely.
So how on earth, then, can the Conservative Party now claim there was some sort of cover-up if they were told in July or August?
Obviously, there's been a change of cast lists running the party. James Cleverly is now on the back benches. Robert Jenrick, who's been saying there was a cover-up yesterday on social media, I would suggest may have not been aware of the briefing which the Conservatives had about the scale of this. I mean, it's breaking right now on the channel.
This is astonishing.
Yeah.
If they knew all those months before.
James Cleverly knew, the Shadow Home Secretary knew. On Privy Council terms means you can't tell other people because it's the terms you're receiving, and you can maybe that's the terms. So the government was briefing the opposition about what was going on, and this maybe we heard, didn't we, repeatedly from Nigel Farage saying there's more to this than meets the eye.
Well, there certainly is. If the Conservatives knew about this months in advance of the media, months in advance of the public, and now the claims are cover-up. Chris, so many questions to ask. We're going to have to pick this up in the next hour because we have to move on. Fantastic news there from the best operator in the business, Chris Hope. Thank you very much.